Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for Phoenix 360, and I am blessed to be joined today by Desmond the songwriter. Hey, Desmond, how you doing, man?
Hi, Johnny. I'm great. Fantastic. And you, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well too. It's great to see you, brother, and I'm looking forward to
Good to
learning all about your experience in being an artist and your songwriting. But first, I'd love to tune into some of your music, if I may, and share with our people. Okay, if we tune into your track, Jamaicans Be Like.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you for that.
All
That's a good
right.
place to start.
Excellent. Okay, everyone, let's tune in now to Desmond the Songwriter with Jamaicans Be Like.
My mouth is wide open as I watch you run and count the Olympic medals you've won. I like to read about you in the papers. You're known as a country of record breakers. Jamaicans be like really cool, but with Alawa we can do anything. Cause Jamaica, we know how to live like brother and sister. Jamaicans be like really cool, but with Alawa. You play dancehall and reggae, mento and ska for friends from Timbuktu to Alaska. You're always in everyone's cookbook. They like how you jerk everything when you cook. Jamaicans be like really cool, but with Alawa we can do anything. Cause Jamaica, we know how to live like brother and sister. Jamaicans be like really cool, but with Alawa. Every morning I get on my knees and pray that your few problem children will go the right way. Let them know if they really wanna be cool, they have to keep going to church and to school. Jamaicans be like really cool, but with Alawa we can do anything. Cause Jamaica, we know how to live like brother and sister. Jamaicans be like really cool, but with Alawa.
Desmond, that was beautiful. It was great to share your music with everyone. Thank you, brother. Now, listen, can you tell me
Well,
where are you from and how did you get involved in becoming a singer-songwriter?
yeah, so I'm from Kingston, Jamaica.
Okay.
I'm currently living in the Bronx, New York City, but I grew up in Kingston, Jamaica. I've been actually singing professionally since I was 8 years old. I got my first check to sing when I was 8. My mother, my biological mother, single mom, gave me up for adoption when I was 8 years old. But before that, she used to send me to church. But when she gave me up for adoption, my adoptive parents started taking me to church. And shortly after I started going to that church, several of the top gospel bands in the area started buzzing around trying to book me to open for them.
Recruit you.
And one of them actually booked me, the Gospel Proclaimers. The band is called the Gospel Proclaimers. They
Uh-huh.
took me on tour with them, opened for them. They paid me my first check to sing when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
Started singing gospel music. Um, when I went to high school, I got into singing classical music in a choir. And after I left high school, I went on the Jamaican North Coast hotel circuit singing cabaret music, Jamaican music, music to entertain tourists that come on the North Coast in the hotel circuit. That's where most entertainers in Jamaica, a lot of them kind of cut their performing, get their performing chops by
Yeah.
performing in the hotel circuit. So I did that for a while. I did some musical theater as well. Jamaica has there's a musical theater company, a few musical theater companies, but one big one, the National Pantomime Company. They open a show every December 26th. They call it Boxing Day. I
Uh-huh.
played
Okay.
principal roles in that, and then they would run for months in Kingston, and then they would tour North America, Canada, New York, and so on and so forth. Um, when I got to high school age, when I got to college age, my parents told me music was not a career, although they had made good money from my work as a singing from I was 8. my adoptive parents, that is. So I studied business in college and worked in the corporate world, and that took me away from music partially. I only moonlighted as a musician during that time. I worked in the corporate world.
Uh-huh.
I also, however, worked as the first administrator of Jamaica's first PRO, like ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, those PROs that represent songwriters.
I do.
Jamaica's PRO is called JCAP, and I was their first administrator.
How about
And
that?
they sent me abroad to Europe, Switzerland, Sweden, at WIPO, to PRS in the UK for training in copyright management and all that stuff. And while I was, it kind of piqued my interest even about songwriting and songwriters. I started getting close to a lot of established songwriters who were doing well from their work, music. But I was also meeting several songwriters who had not had their work managed properly, and so they were not being remunerated for their work was being played on the radio, but they weren't earning from it.
Yes.
So that kind of piqued my interest in taking my songwriting even more seriously. And that coincided shortly after I moved to America to study music some more. My adopted parents died in 2004. And I decided I would come to America to become a full-time musician. I studied some music formally in the college system here, and I started pursuing my dream of becoming a full-time singer-songwriter, musician. And that's what I've been doing. I released an EP in 2010. I released an album, my first full-length album in 2020. Pop Magazine named it one of the 50 best albums of 2020. And that list has people like John Legend, Alicia Keys, Taylor Swift, and so on and so forth on that list. And then I just released my second album in April of this year, on my second album. So those things are what led up to me becoming a songwriter. Just, the church, beginning the church and then going into the school and singing all kinds of music, classical music, musical theater, and then the cabaret work on the North Coast. And then when I came to America, before I came to America, I used to sing mostly alternative kind of pop music, because every Jamaica is a reggae artist.
True.
But when I came to America, I realized that I wasn't hearing enough reggae. And I said, you know what, reggae music is going to make me more unique and stand out than what was here. So let me get into reggae more. And so I started writing and recording and producing more reggae music after I came to America, actually.
Well, Desmond, it's a fascinating story. And I got to tell you what, it starts with those spiritual roots and gospel. And obviously,
Yes.
your talent was recognized at such a young age to be able to stir the emotional response of the crowds in those gospel church settings and community gatherings. So that's a beautiful kind of, first seeding of this musical passion that you have to want to study also different kinds of music, into your theatrical performing as well. And then what's really unique about your experience as well is there are so many artists who the music is the centric focus, and they come from various backgrounds, but they didn't necessarily understand or get involved in the business of music, which is, and ultimately what you're able to study in the corporate world and be part of, in essence, contributing to refounding of compensatory, of compensation for artists when they otherwise were not getting their fair shake, or they're in essence underrepresented in that space. And so for you to get that education also for yourself is very empowering now, where you're a full-time musician and producing music and able to tether a better understanding of how to manage the release of that music and to protect your name, image, and likeness and everything that is related to ensuring you get compensated for your work. I think it's a tremendous experience that you've had, and it kind of dovetails into what the whole theme of the Fenix 360 platform is about. It's an engaging, in most cases, an underrepresented artist to have another means for which to help become discovered and to monetize their work. and to control their own musical destinies. Because, as you know, Desmond, there's so many artists who they, as you had to, in a way, you abandon the dream to get into the corporate world, possibly just to make a living, but the passion was always with the
Right.
music. You know, you're truly
Definitely.
kind of following your soul's calling and doing what you were really
Right.
here
Definitely.
out here to do.
Definitely. Definitely. That is so true. That is very true.
Right? And
That's
so
very true.
listen, in working with other artists, and you mentioned also, you know what I mean, congratulations on your recent album and its accolades in 2020 to be considered in that the top ranking. And that is very encouraging, man. And so congratulations for that.
Mm.
But
Thank
what
you.
and right now that is your current focus also, is it's your latest album and you're promoting that work.
Mm.
Tell me a little bit about
Yes.
what you're currently focused on.
Yes, well, definitely, I am focused on getting the word out on this new album. Another guest coming. It's a concept album of love songs,
Beautiful.
and it deals with love in all its forms. You know, love of between people, love of country, love of our relationship with work-life balance.
Uh-huh.
It deals with issues with the love of things and how when we get attached to things, sometimes it gets in the way of our relationships with each other.
Uh-huh.
So it's a concept album, as I said, of love songs, in all its forms or in many forms. And it's currently available on all digital platforms. Unlike the first album, I don't have any physical product, vinyl or CDs, but it's available on everywhere music is played
That's
and
good.
streamed. And anywhere you can download music or stream music, it's available there. And that's my focus right now, just getting the word out. The first album was widely distributed across the United States and some parts of Europe. And I'm trying to get the word out with this record that, people tell me my music is inspiring, it's meaningful, it's relaxing, and sometimes it's sometimes humorous. And so I'm looking for people who are looking for that kind of thing, music that's inspiring, meaningful, relaxing, and are also looking for some humor here and there as well.
Perfect.
And
Yeah. Levity is so
that's
important,
what,
right?
that's my focus right now. That's just my focus right now. Just getting the word out on this record to try to find people who are looking for that kind of music.
Well, Desmond, it sounds very inspiring and uplifting, and I like the way also you express how the love songs are a connectedness to expressions of love of all kinds. There's so many
Right.
romantic love songs, but necessary, it's nice to expand that loving feeling to everything living and all kinds of relationships, and I think that's really
Right.
important. Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
so anyway, we're going to follow your progress. How about on social media, Desmond? How can people find you there?
Yeah. Well, I'm available pretty much on all the major platforms. I'm on Instagram, Desmond the Songwriter. If you search for Desmond the Songwriter, my website, DesmondTheSongwriter.com, has links to everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm available on Facebook, Desmond the Song. If you search for that, I'm available on Twitter, Desmond the Song. On TikTok, Desmond the Songwriter. YouTube, Desmond the Songwriter.
Beautiful.
I'm on all platforms.
Well, listen, we're going to be sure to put all the links below our interview today for everyone to be able to connect to those. But we're also looking forward to you,
Right.
Desmond, being on Phoenix 360 so that fans can discover and connect with you there too. You know?
Well,
And
I'm already there. I've already created a profile, and I plan to flush that profile out properly so that I can, you know, interact with the other great. I've been watching some other. I've seen some interesting artists there already,
great.
and I plan to interact with them and all that. So, I appreciate you taking the time and having the foresight to create such a platform for artists like myself and others.
Yes.
And I plan to take advantage of it and use it as much as I can.
That's great, Desmond. I appreciate it, man. So everyone should look for Desmond the Songwriter at the social media links I post below our interview, and also look for him currently on Phoenix 360. And Desmond, I love hearing, about your journey and the dedication you've had to becoming a singer-songwriter of such prominence. So thanks so much for being with me today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Johnny. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I appreciate the opportunities like these. So thank you. Kudos to you and to your work on Phoenix 360.
Likewise, brother. Thank you. Blessings, respect.
blessing, not respect.
Jamaicans be like we little but we calawa. We can do anything, cause Jamaica, we know how to live like brother and sister. Jamaicans be like we little but we calawa. On my knees and pray that your few problem children will go the right way. Let them know if they're ready, wanna be cool. They have to keep going to church and to school. Jamaicans be like we little but we calawa. We can do anything, cause Jamaica, we know how to live like brother and sister. Jamaicans be like we little but we calawa.